In today's lesson video, we're going to be learning about how the times table and division facts are linked. So we're going to be learning how we can rapidly recall, so that means to be able to say the facts really quickly, our times table facts, and then the division facts, which are linked to the times tables. We're going to start with a times table triangle. So with our times table triangle, this is a really useful way to learn some times table facts which are linked to the division facts. So at the bottom, we write our factors. So for example, I'm going to write 3 times 6. So 3 and 6 are my factors. They're the two numbers that are in a times that are being times together. And the multiple of 3 and 6, so the answer of 3 and 6 is 18, and I write my answer at the top. So at the bottom you put the 2 times table facts, the 2 factors. They are the two numbers being multiplied and they make the number 18. 18 is the product and 18 is the multiple. So when we think about multiples and factors, I can say that 3 is a factor of 18. I can say 6 is a factor of 18. And the other way round, I can say 18 is a multiple of 3 and 18 is a multiple of 6. I can also say that 3 times 6 is 18 and that 6 times 3 is 18, because it doesn't matter which way round we do our timesing. And I can say that 18 divided by 3 is 6 and that 18 divided by 6 is 3. So it works in a lovely little system where the number at the top, because it's the product of 3 and 6, it's a multiple of 3 and 6. If 18 is divided by either one of those factors, the other factor is the answer. So we can do that with some other numbers. So I'm going to do a different times table. I'm going to do 4 as a factor and 5 as a factor. And 4 times 5 produces 20. 20 is the product of 4 times 5. 20 is a multiple of 4. 20 is a multiple of 5. 5 is a factor of 20. 4 is a factor of 20. But when we start to build these triangles up, we can also start to quickly see our related facts. So if you use the free download that is linked in this video, you can print off the times table triangles, some blank ones, and I suggest you write out your times table facts in them and start to learn each triangle. So think about which 3 numbers fit together. So for example, if you know that 7 times 4 is 28, if someone was to ask you what 28 divided by 7 is, you should start to link the family together, the triangle of facts. So 28 divided by 4 is 7, and also 28 divided by 7 is 4. So here's going to help you to support your rapid recall, because once you've learned how to count up in your 4s, you want to start thinking about being able to really quickly say your facts. If someone said what's 8 4s, you should be able to say 32. And if you practice with these triangles, maybe cut them out, maybe learn 3 a week and just focus on those 3, learning that the quick recall of 8 times 4 is 32, but also 32 divided by 8 is 4, 32 divided by 4 is 8. And that will be easier to do if you think about the facts as a trio. My next tip for learning your times table is a times table flower. So here, for example, if I had 3 in the middle and my first layer, there's 12 petals, I'm going to write in what I want to multiply my 3 by. And on the outside, I would write down my answers. I'm going to choose a bright colour. So 3 times 1 is 3. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. So you can make some times table flowers, and you might want to just draw your own. So I'll show you from scratch how to draw one. So you would start with your circle and your multiple. Let's say my multiple was 5, and then you want to think about doing your inner layer of petals. Now you want to do 12, so what I would suggest is if you do 4 first, maybe try and keep them similar sizes. I need to fit in 2 in each gap because there needs to be 4 lots of 3. So do another petal and another petal, another petal and another petal, another petal and another petal, another petal and another petal. And I'm sure you can make it much neater if you're drawing it on paper. So let me just put in another 3 here. That's your first layer. So I could write in my times table facts on my first layer. So I'm just going to put in what I'm multiplying 5 by here. And then I do my second layer. And I'm just going to extend each petal. So I'm just going to add on the top of each petal. Okay, and then I write in my answers. I write my answers in that outer layer. I'm going to go with purple. So 5 times 1 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And I'm sure you can maybe think of even some other designs you could do. You could maybe add to it. You could make a garden of flowers. You can make some posters. But if you're learning your times table facts, it's a good idea to do things like this, because actually writing things down and taking time over it helps it to go into your brain and your memory that bit more. And you could make some lovely posters. Just concentrate on 1 times table at a time, or 2 or 3. You can choose your target. But when you look at this flower now, you can see, for example, like the triangle, that 5, 3 and 15 are linked. They are together. So 5 times 3 is 15, 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. I know that 5, 7 and 35, they're a trio, they belong together. 5 times 7 is 35, and I know that 35 divided by 7 is 5. Okay, so to start with, you may want to use your resources, use your triangle or use your times table flower to help you answer some questions, find some answers. And as you get more familiar, you will start to remember the answers without having to look. So it's a really good way of building up those links of your times table and your division facts. Another really good way to practice linking your times table and division facts are with my Match the Pairs game. So this is like a memory game. Now I've shown you all the cards faced up, and there's also a free download of this. Now if you look on the left hand side, you can see that these are all the factors. So this is what I'm going to multiply by 4. So we're working with our 4 times tables, and here we've got the numbers 1 to 12. If I multiply any of these numbers by 4, the numbers on my right are my answers. So this side are the answers. So for example, 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12, etc. So we're looking at all of these numbers being multiplied by 4. These are my factors, 4, and these are my factors. These are my multiples of 4. Here. Okay, so the first thing we would do is we would make sure you've got all the cards and make sure you've got all the pairs, and then you're going to mix them up and turn them over. Now you would turn them all face down so you can't see any of your numbers. Here I've demonstrated when you first have a go, you turn 2 to face up. So here I've turned 2 cards up and I've got the number 4 and 20. Now 4, we're using the 4 times table. 4 times 4 does not equal 20. So that has not worked. It's not correct. So I need to turn the cards back over and move on. If you're playing with other people, it would now become the next person's turn. And you can play this game in 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s as long as you all take turns. You can also play on your own. So I would turn these over. I haven't managed to find a correct pair. And I open up another 2. I've got 8 and 16. So 8 times 2 makes 16. 16 divided by 2 makes 8, but it doesn't link with 4. So I would turn them back over. But have you spotted something? If I think about the numbers I've got, to find 8 times 4, I would need 32. If I think about the 16, divide that by 4, I need 4. And I actually had 4, didn't I? I turned it over on the last round. So if you were the next player and you have been paying attention, you should remember, aha, I know where the 4 is. So for your next go, you could find the 4 and the 16, and then you would keep that pair. So you would remove these pairs from the pile and you carry on. You get to keep those. So if you're playing a multiplayer game, if you're playing against someone else, the player with the most cards at the end is the winner. If you're playing with yourself, you could do things like set a timer. How long does it take you to find all the pairs? Or you could give yourself a time limit. For example, you're only going to play for 5 minutes. How many pairs can you find in 5 minutes? So there's endless ways that you can play this game. In the download that's available with this, I have provided a blank template so that you can write in your own table facts on there. So download the free resource and you'll have access to the times table triangles and the match the pairs. The times table flower you can draw your own. I'd love to see some finished creations. So if you've made a garden of times tables, or perhaps you found another inventive way to represent the times table facts and then the division facts. That would be fantastic to see all your lovely ideas. Now make sure you practice daily, even if it is just 10 minutes. In fact, it has been proven that it's more effective to spend 3 minutes every day than to spend 15 minutes just once a week. So even if it's a bite-sized amount, it's doing it daily. That is the important thing. Also, just practice one times table group at a time. Don't try and learn all of your tables in one go. Now, if you know all of your table facts and you're just a bit rusty, then you could, mix them up a little bit. But until you know all your table facts, pick one that you're going to spend a lot of time on, get that cracked before you move on to something else. And then get your family to test you or test yourself, and do it maybe weekly so you can start to see your progress. So you're testing, it might be how many you can get right, it might be how quickly you do something. You choose what works for you. So download that resource and get practicing your times table and division facts. If you've enjoyed this lesson video, then please have a look at our website where you can sign up for access to loads more free resources to support maths learning in Key Stage 2. If you have a child in Year 6, you can download our Pocket Private Tutor app from any of the app stores today. The Pocket Private Tutor app contains the whole of the Year 6 maths curriculum with lesson videos, worksheets, and also past SATs questions, so you can test yourself against any area in the Year 6 curriculum, and everything is perfectly aligned to the national curriculum. So download that today. It's just $4.99 a month.